Hello, everybody. Welcome to an episode of Moe'S Culture Show and Tell. And today, I wanted to give you something a little different, something that I was thinking about doing for a little while now. Now, there are these CDs that I own, that I have here and there, that have a bit of a special quality to them, that they're not quite average. There's at least one little thing that makes them a little bit different and unique compared to other CDs, and I just want to highlight those today. Now, I have a honorable mention of a CD. This is not part of the little CDs that I want to show you, and you'll see as I go along what I'm talking about. Now, the first one I wanted to talk about, which is an honorable mention because I don't actually have the CD, but I do want to talk about it, would be from the Insane Clown Posse's Mighty Death Pop. Now, if you are aware of this, okay, they did three sets, okay, a red pop, a white pop, and a black pop. Now, I have the red pop, which they each have a second CD in there, okay. All of them has the album, but it's the second CD. Mine, the one I have, is called Smothered, Covered, and Chunked, and these are all cover songs that the Insane Clown Posse does. But that's not what I want to talk about. Now, the other one of the other pops. Now, I'm not sure which one is which because I only have the red pop. But either the black pop or the white pop has their second. There's a second CD that is just Mikey Clark's Extra Pop Emporium, where he does these different mixes and stuff. But that's not the one I'm talking about. What I want to talk about is the third one, which has Freaky Tales. And if you know anything about Freaky Tales, that is actually the second CD, the second disc. That's 1 hour, a 1 hour song. It's a song, but it's exactly it's like 1 hour and 14 seconds long, 60 minutes and 14 seconds, and all they talk about in the whole song is about the girls they dated, all and just talking about this girl and that girl and this girl and that girl, and the song I've heard it at least 3 times, and it's not bad really. You think, okay, how can they make a song like Freaky Tales that's an hour long interesting? It's the music. The music kind of changes as it goes, so it's not the same kind of music. It changes up, and it's not all that bad. You might think it would be, but it's not. But that's an honorable mention. I just had to bring that up. Now, talking about differences. Now, I'm only bringing this next band up as and this is a 2-for-1 because this is the first time I ever heard of that concept. Now, there have been other bands that did it too, that does this, okay? But the first time that I ever heard a secret song at the end of an album would have been for this Opiate, the first Tool album and the first album I ever heard that made them my favorite band. When I heard this for the first time, it became my favorite band. It still is my favorite band. When it was only this album, but if you know, it's a 6 song. It's not even an album really. It's more of it's an EP. But at the end of Opiate, you see here it says 522. You but it's not, it's longer than that. You let the track play. There's a bit of a 2 minute space, and then it comes with a song called the Gaping Lotus Experience. Even on the cassette, when they released a cassette of that, because they had all six songs on one side, and then you turn it over and the same 6 songs on the other side. But you left the cassette playing until they get to the end, and there was an extra song called the Gaping Lotus Experience. Now, I remember the first few times hearing the album, I had no idea there was a secret song on there. And yeah, that kind of blew my mind. It's the first time I ever heard of that concept, and they kind of repeated that in Undertow. You get to song 10, which is called Disgustipated, and you can, if you can see the timing on it, it says 15 minutes and 42 seconds. You get them doing the, uh, this is necessary. Life feeds on life, and blah blah blah, and all those sounds of them shooting shotguns and that at car doors and stuff to make the percussions and that. But then it quiets down, and for about I swear a good 5-6 minutes, it's nothing but just very low. There's a very low crackle of a fire, and you hear crickets in the background, and you leave it play, and at the last couple of minutes is somebody kind of talking, almost like a poem kind of thing. So that isn't a different way of making a secret song at the end. That's not really a secret song, but if you don't know, you could just stop it after where it goes quiet a little bit and not be aware of it. But I thought that was an interesting thing that they did for their first studio album and their EP. That's why Tool also is one of my favorite band. It is my favorite band of all time. Not because of that, but that helped. Now, I want to talk about this CD because this has something that I had never heard anybody ever do on a CD. Now, you bought the album or this, once it gets to about halfway mark after feel a whole lot better, Tom Petty comes on and he tells you, okay, if this is if you're listening to this on album, you would just take the album and turn it over and you would begin the second disc. But because it's on CD, he tells you that this is the spot where if you were playing it on an album, you would take it over, and then he tells you, well, here, let's begin the second side. I don't know it per verbatim, but I thought that was interesting that he added that between, where side one would have ended and side two would have began. That he differentiates it between the two. So that's why I'm mentioning that, because I thought that was an interesting little thing when I remember the first time hearing it on CD, and it's like, okay, that's interesting, that's cool. Now, the next band, which I really do love, and I have a huge collection of all their CDs, but this one in particular, World War III by KMFDM, I thought that was interesting because it starts off with the track World War III, but when you look at the last song, it's intro. Then I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to program it so that all the songs play in reverse order. And when you do that, it has a cool flow to it. That this album, basically, the tracks are backwards. You're really supposed to start with the last track and work your way up to World War III. That it has a more of a story when you play it backwards, and I find that interesting. It's the only KMFDM album that does that. But when you first play it, you think, okay, you're starting with World War III, and then it's actually it's backwards. And I thought that was very interesting and a cool concept. And quite often now, when I actually play this, I do program it so that it plays that it starts with the intro and goes to Revenge and talking about morons, and it makes more sense when you play it backwards. Just saying. Now this is not about the music in per se, but it's about the CD itself. You see how black it is, right? Okay, this is Brothers by the Black Keys, which I have quite a few of their albums too. I love the Black Keys. Now, when you look at the album, it's black, right? But there is writing on it. You can kind of see it there when I have it in the light a little bit of reflection. What happens is when you put it in your player and you played the CD, once the album is done playing, you play the whole thing, the CD player warms up the CD, and when you take it out, it turns white. The black turns white, and you can see all the my fingers are not going to be hot enough to heat that up, unfortunately. But yeah, it would turn it white, and so you can see all what's on the CD cover. I thought that was cool the first time I saw that. It kind of wowed me because you think it's just a black cover, but you can see where I'll put it in the right direction maybe. No, that's upside down. All right. Yeah, right there. That's the right side up. And you can see, you can just barely maybe see where it is. Yeah, and I thought that was cool that they did that, you know. It's like El Camino, another album from them. It's called El Camino, but every single picture on the covers is a minivans. That's an interesting concept. And now the last one of note that I wanted to talk about is Undeveloped by a band called Ohgr. And I actually love Ohgr. I have 4 albums of them. There's a couple more that I need to get, but it's hard to get. Now what makes this album interesting, okay, is that it has listed here uh, 11 tracks, right? But there's actually 13 tracks on the album. When you put it in your player, it has 13 tracks. And what they did, if you're listening to it, track 1, which is called 101, right? It's actually track 1 and 2. It's the title for both tracks of track 1 and track 2. And then Crash, the second song on there, is track 3 and 4. And that when you get to Pissage, okay, which is track number which is song number 3 on the CD, that's track number 5. So the first song is track 1 and 2. The second song is track 3 and 4, and then from there on it's in order. And now it was the second time. Well, actually, during the first time when I played it, I thought that's weird. We're on track. It's not adding up properly. I wonder what's going on, and I had to replay it a couple of times to really figure out what was going on. I mean, I kind of knew the first time playing it what was going on, but I had to make sure. So I think it was the second time when I played it that I realized that's what they're doing. That they're doing it in a different way. That like how it's labeled on the sleeve here is not quite the way it plays. I thought that was ingenious, and I had. So those are just a little kind of oddities on the CDs that I do have that had little oddities. I mean, some are more common and and understood now, but in the back in like it's for me it's the first time I played them that I realized. And I mean, my brother had this one, and he showed me that the CD lightened up in color when it warmed up. But all the rest was just pretty much a discovery of playing it and realizing it for yourself, which I did. And so these are kind of spoilers for people who who were going to get these albums. But yeah, I that's what I want to show you today. So this is my little episode of Moe'S CD Culture Show and Tell. I hope you enjoyed it, and please, everybody, be safe. Take care. I will see you on the flip side, and please, everyone, have a great day, evening, night, wherever you may be. Peace.